Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another Skyrim video. I'm Alex, and in today's video we'll be talking about combat mods, how to completely overhaul the combat gameplay of Skyrim, and everything that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description below. I'll be showing you some combat mods, some enemy scaling, leveling mods, as well as some smaller fixes and improvements that I think you should be taking a look at. So if you never modded Skyrim and you don't know how to get started, there's a video in the description that will show you how to do that. It's about 10 minutes long. Anyone can do it, it's very easy. And if you don't have Skyrim Special Edition or Legendary, PC or consoles, I have my little ref link down below. You can get a nice discount as well as any other game. So let's get started. Alright, so the first mod is called Wildcat Combat of Skyrim, and this, in my opinion, is the best combat mod out there, definitely one of the most popular ones. Now, at its core, this functions as an AI enhancement mod, but it actually comes with many different subsystems, so things such as attacks of opportunity, timed blocking, lethality, how fast the combat should be, injuries and stagger, all kinds of different stuff. Now all of this you can configure, fine-tune, disable, enable according to your preferences. It has a nice MCM menu, and if you're just gonna install one mod, then my suggestion would be that you get this one. Now Wildcat also comes with an optional plugin that will increase damage dealt and taken for all actors on the battlefield, and normally I wouldn't use this plugin, but since the second mod on this list kind of slows down the game, then this plugin can really come in handy. Speaking of the second mod on this list, it's called True Armor, and this is another phenomenal mod, one of the best out there, and what it does, it basically overhauls the armor system in the game, so different types of armor will provide you with different types of protection bonuses. Certain armor will be better at protecting you against certain damage types. For example, if you're wearing full metal plate, you might be able to deflect arrows, but be a little bit more susceptible to fire damage, for example. And True Armor comes with an MCM menu with a ton of different settings, so I'm not gonna go through them. It will take like half an hour to just cover all of that. But the author has been kind enough to make some presets which you can simply import depending on what you want to do. And once you import them, just give it a couple of minutes until it finishes and you will be good to go. Now, other than that, True Armor might be a little bit script heavy compared to Wildcat. Wildcat is very performance friendly, but if you notice some issues with True Armor, then probably your CPU is not able to handle it. However, in my experience, I think that most PCs out there will be able to handle this mod, unless it's something really old and outdated. So True Armor, definitely a high recommendation from me. So the next mod on our list is called Mortal Enemies, also one of the best mods out there, very performance friendly, very small, and what it does, it basically does a couple of things. First, it removes the aimbotting capabilities of NPCs, so if they hit you and the animation clearly misses you, then that will not be registered as a hit. It also reduces their turn rates, so in vanilla Skyrim, enemies can turn ridiculously fast, they can always hit you, so this mod aims to fix that. Other than that, it also added some movement speeds to make combat a little bit more realistic. After that, we have a mod that's called TK Dodge. This is a very interesting mod, very popular. It basically allows you to dodge all attacks, and if you played something like Elder Scrolls Online, you should be familiar with this mechanic. It also has an MCM menu where you can fine-tune how much stamina it costs, the hotkeys, a couple of different options, things like that. So TK Dodge is very useful if you're playing, let's say, a squishy mage build and you want to utilize your stamina for something else other than sprinting. The next mod that we have is called SkyTEST Realistic Animals and Predators, and this mod deals with animals of Skyrim. It tweaks their stats, improves their combat AI, and a lot of other different things, and it actually prevents them from reporting crimes, which is very useful. After that, we have Ordinator Perks of Skyrim. Now this is not necessarily a combat mod, but since it overhauls all the perk skills in the game, it definitely impacts combat in many different ways, allows you to play many different types of builds, and makes the crafting relevant again. So if you want to play a build of Skyrim with completely different perk trees and different possible builds, then you absolutely have to get Ordinator. I already did a video on that, so it's in the playlist, you can try and find it. But basically, in my opinion, this is the best perk overhaul mod out there. After Ordinator, we have a mod that's called Wards Functionalities Extended, and this mod completely overhauls the gameplay with wards. In vanilla Skyrim they're kinda useless, but this mod will drastically improve them, reduce the cost, allow you to set different options via the MCM menu, how the wards should function, and it will also give you two new spells, one is Expert and one is Master level ward. Now this mod is called High Level Enemies. It's one of my favorite mods. It's not necessarily combat related, but it helps to improve the difficulty of the game. And this mod comes in a couple of different options. The first option adds a bunch of new enemies to the world of Skyrim, over 800 new enemies. And there's also a plugin for the downguard area. So if you just want to add new enemies and they will start appearing once you hit level 10 and above, then the first option is for you. However, in my opinion, the second option is better because the second option does everything that the first one does, but it also scales up all the enemies to your level. No matter what level you are, they will also be scaled up. And this applies to both new enemies that the mod adds, as well as vanilla enemies. So if you want to increase the difficulty of the game, definitely get high level enemies. Alright, so that's it for the bigger mods. Now let's take a look at some smaller fixes and improvements that are often overlooked, although some of these are very popular, and if you're playing on consoles you might want to check which ones are available. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not playing on the consoles, but the first one that we have is called Realistic Ragdolls and Force. Pretty self-explanatory. It will simply prevent bodies from flying everywhere, unless that's something that you want. Otherwise do not install it. But if you want a more realistic ragdoll effect in Skyrim, then this mod is for you. The next one is called Realistic AI Detection, and this can be very useful if you're editing the way your game looks. For example, if you have some lighting mods, make the game a lot darker, and you want to have the NPCs have more realistic AI detection for sneaking. And there's a couple of different files. You should read the description of all of them to see which one works the best for you. After that we have Realistic Melee Range, and this is also self-explanatory. It will simply prevent enemies from hitting you with melee weapons from like 5 body lengths away, like in Elder Scrolls Online, and that can be very annoying, so this mod completely fixes that. Then we have Fixed Body Collision, also self-explanatory. You will no longer be able to pass through bodies, so if that's something that's been bugging you, this will fix it. Then we have No Spinning Death Animation. This will remove that ridiculous death animation from vanilla Skyrim. You will never see that again. After that we have a mod that's called D13 Faster Get Up Stand Up Animation. So anytime you get knocked down, you will no longer have to wait for a long time until you get back on your feet. This mod will completely fix it. And after that one we have a mod that's called No BS AI Projectile Dodge, and this might be included in some of the other combat mods. I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't cost you anything to install it, and it will simply prevent enemies from magically dodging your attacks when they're clearly not able to see them. The next mod is called Disable Cinematic Kills, and if you want to get rid of that and you don't want to see those kills anymore, then this one will remove them. Proper Aiming is a mod that simply fixes the aiming crosshair issues with bows and spells, so you will actually be able to hit where you're aiming. The next one is called Shout Cooldowns That Make Sense, and this one will simply rework the cooldowns of all the shouts in the game and, well, make more sense. After that we have a mod that's called Encounter Zones Unlocked, and what this mod does, it simply unlocks the zones of the world of Skyrim, and what that means is that when you enter a zone at a certain level, enemies will no longer be locked to that level, so when you come back they will actually be a higher level. Now if you're using high level enemies you don't really need this, but if you want to use both of them, then you can load this one first and then load high level enemies after that one. And finally, for the last mod on our list, we have a mod that's called No Cell Respawn, and what this mod does, it basically prevents enemies from respawning. It actually doesn't prevent them, it just sets their respawn rates at ridiculously high values. And this doesn't apply to everything in the game. For example, world encounters or radiant dungeon quests, those will not be affected. But if you want to go in Skyrim and get rid of all the evil, empty the world, then this mod is for you. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's not too long. All the links are in the description, like I said. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you want to add any more mods, just write down in the comments below. I will be making a written guide on my website as well, so make sure you check out the description for that. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Skyrim videos, check out the playlist, and I'll see you guys in the next one.